Hello guys and welcome back to Planet 40k, our countdown to Christmas. Today is the 7th of December, so 1 week in now. The voice is all good again. Give it 10 minutes and I'll be croaky. But we're going to do another one of the Who Outshoots Who units, or Who Outshoots Who videos is what I meant. Now I know I've done this already a few times, but because I've still not, at the time of filming this, I've not actually got the full Necron points. I've had a leak, so you can kind of guess roughly where I am in terms of filming. If you know, you know. And without the confirmation on some abilities on some data cards and the points, there are certain videos that I have prepped that I can't really touch. So I'm kind of doing my list in an order that I can actually deal with. So yeah, forgive me for that. But yeah, for today we're going to be talking about the Doomsday Ark from the Necrons going up against the Tyrannofex from the Tyranids. So previously, the Doomsday Ark was 210, I don't know what the points are as mentioned, and the Tyrannofex is 245, which I think is quite a lot for a Tyrannofex. So yeah, who outshoots who? So the Doomsday Ark has the Doomsday Cannon weapon. It's got blast, it's got heavy. Blast in this video isn't going to really do anything, because we're not going up against a unit of 5, but they're going up against each other. Heavy will, and we're going to include that for the mathematics, because I think that's what we need to do. 72-inch range. D6 plus 1 attacks, ballista skill 3 plus, strength is now 18, it used to be 15 I think, it is now 18, minus 4 AP and the damage is a flat 4, so it does absolutely slap when it gets hold of you. Now there's also a Ghost Flare array which isn't anything to be sniffed at, not like the Canoptic Doomstalker where it was like a one shot or rapid fire one-off shot. This has got lethal hits, rapid fire 5 and you get 2 of these arrays. So you're effectively got 10 shots or 20 shots. Hit on 3, strength 4 and OP 1 damage. Can't expect a massive amount against the Tyrannofex of course, but in general it's not bad. Now the ability it's got does interact with the weapon, which is Overwhelming Obliteration. So if this model remains stationary in the movement phase, you also gain dead wounds. And we're going to of course be doing that to imply the heavy keyword. So for this video, this vehicle will be staying stationary. So heavy and dead wounds will be in effect. As for the actual resiliency, which we're going to have to interact with the Tyrannofex weapons, toughness 9, 3 plus armor, 4 plus invulnerable save, 14 wounds. So that's all that's going to really interact when it comes to getting shot back. Now the Tyrannofex, on the other hand, has some options. You've got either the acid spray, the flesh borer hive, or the rupture cannon. Let's quickly just go through these so we all know where we are. The acid spray is a torrent, so it's auto hitting. It's got 18-inch range, D6 plus 6 attacks. Nice. Auto hitting, strength 6 minus 2 AP, 2 damage. So it is an anti-marine kind of weapon. Not necessarily elite, but not necessarily horde. Somewhere in the middle. That's what it's good at. The flesh borer hive has heavy, sustained hits 1 and twin linked. 24-inch range, 20 shots. Hitting on 3s, strength 5, no AP, 1 damage. So more of an anti-horde kind of weapon. And finally the rupture cannon, which is the anti-vehicle weapon. Also heavy, 48-inch range, only 2 shots, hitting on 3s, strength 18, which matches the Doomsday Ark, minus 4 AP, which also matches the Doomsday Ark, and 2d6 damage, which in theory should be better in terms of damage than the Doomsday Ark, but it's only 2 shots. That's the problem with that. Now the ability that Tyrannofex has, once per battle, when an attack is allocated to this model, you can change the damage characteristic of the attack. That's one single attack can be changed from damage 4 to damage 0. Cool. Other resiliency worthy mentions here. Toughness is 12, 2 plus armor, 16 wounds, no invulnerable save. So yeah, it is tougher by 3 points. It's got a better armor save, no invuln, and 16 wounds versus 14 wounds. So, let's get into the mathematics of this. Let's start with the Doomsday Ark. Now I've put on the screen everything we kind of need to work with here. Now when we get that Doomsday Cannon out, on average we're looking at 8.8 damage going through. However, once per battle you get to change one attack's damage characteristic to 0. So you've got to wipe 4 off of that, because one dice is going to be in the bin. So effectively for that battle round it's going to have 4.8 when the resilient organism is being used. Of course we're not implying any Overwatch or anything here. This is purely shot for shot. Now the Ghost Flare arrays does 0.5 damage, 0.8 within rapid fire. I'm not going to count it as rapid fire. We're shooting from afar at each other here. I mean, we could be potentially really. Tyrannofex does have weapons that are closer, I suppose, but I'm not gonna add that. Maybe I'll just put both. I'll see how I go. So the Doomsday Cannon 8.8 or 4.8 using the Resilient Organisms ability, but that's only a once per battle thing, and the 0.5 from the Gorse Flayer. So turn 1, this is what we're looking at. A total of 5.2 damage from the Doomsday Ark to the Tyrannofex. That would leave 10 to 11 wounds remaining, depends on dice. Turn 2, you've not got the ability anymore. So you're looking at 9.2 damage, 0 to 2 wounds remaining. You could be potentially dead at this point. Potentially. Turn 3, 9.2 damage. Yeah, he's dead. He's done. It's a done deal. Now, of course, Rapid Fire could make it happen in turn 2, potentially. But realistically, I think you'd be quite lucky, quite fortunate to get it in turn 2. There's CP rerolls and things like that. Turn 3, I'm gonna call this turn 3. Now, on the other hand, the Tyrannofex, we've got a little bit more work to do here because there's weapons. We didn't actually mention the Stinger Salvos as well, which we should do that now. 24-inch range, 8 attacks, hit on 3, strength 5, no AP, 1 damage. He'll always have that. It's just the other options that you get one of. So again, I've put the Doomsday Ark's resiliency on the screen for us, and we're going to go through all of them. If you're using the Acid Spray within 18 inches, you're looking at 3.2 damage on the Doomsday Ark. If you're using the Flesh Borer Hive, it's 3.7. I thought that would be the other way around. I thought the Acid Spray would be the better one because of damage 2. But there's a lot of shots there, Sustain hits 1 and Twin Link. So yeah, 3.7 if you're using the Flesh Borer Hive. And the Rupture Cannon. The Rupture Cannon is only 2 shots, but it is 4.9 damage per shooting phase. You've then got to add on top the Stinger Salvos, which is 0.6 damage. So, all in all, I think I would prefer to be using the Rupture Cannon in this example, so that's what we're going to do. We've gone through all of them. Rupture Cannon is the one that is the best. We kind of gathered that already, strength 18, 2d6 damage, but we should go through them all and investigate it all. So here we are. So the Rupture Cannon 4.9, so Stinger Salvos 0.6. Turn 1, that's a grand total of 5.5 damage, which leaves 8 to 9 wounds remaining on the Doomsday Ark. Now the problem again, I know this keeps coming up and it's a bit painful to keep doing this part, but I have to do it. Reanimation Protocols kicks in when it becomes the Necron player's turn, and you're going to heal the 3 lost wounds. So on average you're looking at between 10 and 11 wounds remaining at that stage. Turn 2 for the Tyranids, another 5.5 goes off again. The Doomsday Ark will be left with 4 to 6 wounds. Call it 5 if you want. Reanimation Protocols kicks in yet again, so it's now between 6 and 8. Call it 7 if you want. Turn 3, 5.5. You're now looking at 0 to 3 wounds remaining, and I put Doomsday Ark, or Dead Doomsday Ark, question mark, because it's 0 to 3. It might be dead, it might not be dead. So that kind of would imply that if I've given it 3 turns to kill the Tyrannofex when the Doomsday Ark was shooting, I've got to do it the same way. I think it would take 4 turns to kill the Doomsday Ark if you were using the Tyrannofex. And its reanimation is actually what saves the day again, because out of those 3 turns there, effectively, it's gained 6 wounds back. So it's found a turn's worth, at least, or more than a turn's worth, of damage that it's lost throughout the battle. So that's why it was a close match, but reanimation kicks in and it's not as close. Now the thing is though, you would, if you saw a Doomsday Ark on 6 to 7 wounds remaining, and it's your shooting phase, you're of course going to pull things out of the bag. You're not going to leave it on 1 or 2 wounds or 3 wounds, knowing it's going to reanimate. So you're probably going to pull all the stratagems out of the bag. You're going to target it with other units. We know that. But this is just purely 1 versus 1. So there will be other variables that we will discuss now. So firstly, the benefits of cover, particularly for the Tyrannofex, because the Tyrannofex has no invulnerable save. So the armor save was always getting put to a 6+ armor save. A 2+ with -4 goes to a 6 up, whereas it would go on a 5 up with a cover save, which makes a huge difference. Secondly, the damage table that they both have, which we didn't really include for this. They hit on a -1, I believe. Then, of course, all the unique rules from detachment, stratagems, and enhancements potentially. I mean, let's look at it. Invasion Fleet. I always go to that one as a go-to first. It's quite a nice, simple one. Hyper-aggression to gain lethal hits. You would definitely make use of that against vehicles. That would be handy. Rapid regeneration for 1 command point to have a feel no pain of a 6+ or potentially a 5+. Very likely a 5+ when you've got a 245 point model. you're not going to leave it out of Synapse. So you may as well use the 5+. Crush the Stampede for a +1 to the hit roll against damaged units. And maybe a +1 to the wound roll if they're below half strength, which would kick in halfway. Big, that's big. Synaptic Nexus for a 5+ invulnerable save for a turn. And you could return that on with one of the stratagems. So lots of combinations that you could do with the detachments, in particular for the Tyrannofex. Doomsday Ark, you got the Reanimator, of course, even though it is only 3 inches now. Maybe if you had like a castle of Doomsday Arks, maybe 3 of them, you would have a Reanimator in the centre of them. But the Reanimator will give you an additional Reanimation Protocols D3. You've got a Technomancer that could heal, although they're likely going with Canoptic Wraiths now. They're going to be going forward because it's all changed. The Awakened Dynasty with the Command Protocol of Conquering Tyrant, which is a new, well, it's not improved, but they've changed it, this codex, to be able to reroll 1s at half range. Don't forget the Doomsday Ark's blast weapon was a 72-inch range weapon. So that's a 36-inch half range, that's quite a lot. And if it is half range, you're going to get full rerolls. So hitting on 3s or hitting on 2s with heavy and full rerolls. Yeah. So this one was a lot closer than the others, I believe. There was only a 1-turn difference, even with Reanimation Protocol. So the Tyrannofex did hold its own, and I think it would have assistance. Just bear in mind, though, that the cost of it was 245. The previous cost for the Doomsday Ark was 210. I don't know if it is that now. Don't have the points at this moment in time. So it was cheaper. It might go up, might go down, don't know. But this one is another win for the Necrons because of Reanimation Protocols, which is starting to get a little bit for these videos anyway. So guys, I will see you tomorrow for the 8th of December. We'll have something else for you. I'll see what I can muster. We'll try and get some melee stuff going up because Tyranids need a bit of punch. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.